everyone, welcome to another episode of your favorite YouTube series, The History of K-Pop Season 1, where we've been taking a trip back in time to take a look at some of the legendary legacies left by the K-pop idol groups from the 90s. I don't know about you guys, but it feels like we just began the series not too long ago, yet we're already on our 8th episode. And not to worry, because we've still got many, and I mean many, more episodes waiting for us for the remainder of this season. But for now, let's focus on what is right in front of us. In this episode, we'll be continuing our deep dive into the career of first-generation idol group H.O.T, who played more than a significant role in establishing the K-pop industry we know and love today. If you haven't already had the chance, please watch our last 2 episodes that introduce H.O.T, so you're all caught up on everything you need to know. Or if you want, start right from the beginning while you're at it. To give you a brief overview of today's episode, we'll be taking a look at H.O.T's skills as artists and their popularity and influence over the public. Looks like we've got, once again, lots of important stuff to cover in this episode, so without further ado, let's get right into it.
Let's go!
With everything we talked about in the last episode, H.O.T is definitely a group with some proper skills. But oddly and surprisingly, the H.O.T members did not receive any sort of training prior to their debut. Is anyone surprised here?
Nope.
Now we understand that this might raise some questions, since we said that idols go through trainee days, according to our definitions. To the best of our knowledge, this could be because SM Entertainment had not yet established a training system, as they were just in the process of creating their first idol group, or the first one in the entire industry. In other words, the concept of idol was still not fully established when H.O.T was preparing to debut. Anyway, this resulted in Kangta, the main vocalist of the group, singing about 80% of the parts of their songs on the first album, while the other members shared the remaining parts of the pie. Splitting the remaining 20% doesn't sound fun to me.
This is competition.
Despite this, the other vocalists, Hee-jun and Tony, were still able to showcase their talents in some songs, such as their follow-up song, Candy, where the parts were relatively well distributed. Adding to that exception, Tony was also given the killing part, or the main highlight in proper English, in this song. Fortunately, from the second album and onward, these song parts were more evenly distributed, with each member clearly assigned their roles and being able to show more of their skills. Tony often got many of the killing parts, or the main highlight in proper English. Hee-jun showcased his vocals more, Woo-hyuk showed off his shouting rap, and Jaewon displayed a relatively lighter style of rapping. When it comes to performances, H.O.T was definitely more on the charismatic side, although Candy kind of makes me question this. However, the trade-off of having energetic performances was that they had to resort to the lip sync method in order to quote-unquote sing while they also carried on with their choreographies. But it's important to note that this was the case for many of the singers in the 90s, not just H.O.T, so we probably shouldn't get on their case too much for this. The main reason as to why lip syncing became common in the 90s was the less advanced music and audio technologies of the time, in addition to hands-free microphones not yet existing. Yes, there was indeed a time when hands-free microphones did not exist.
Back in my day, when I was a youth,
But in that case, if the singers wanted to sing live on stage, they would have been forced to use a hand microphone, which usually wasn't an option if the choreography was the main focus of their performances. Furthermore, in-ears also did not exist until the 2000s.
그때는 그랬어요.
This made it even more difficult for singers to hear the song they were singing or dancing to, especially if fans were cheering very loud.
관중석의 절반 이상을 차지할 정도로 아주 적극적인 모습을
I think I would have definitely panicked if I couldn't hear the song during my own performance, except I've never really performed anywhere. Anyways. Eventually, the H.O.T members started to move away from the lip-sync method and began to sing live more. They started doing this at their own concerts, and later started to perform live on the broadcast station's music shows as well. In terms of dance, both Heejun and Woohyuk were quite well known for their dance skills, which is why SM Entertainment scouted them in the first place. The two members became responsible for the choreographies for all the group's promoted songs. We would assume that both Heejun and Woohyuk were really good at dancing. And there is a reason why we're saying this. While modern idol groups also have skilled dancers in their team, most agencies, including SM Entertainment, hire reputable professional dance teams to come up with choreographies. And we don't often see idols come up with their own choreographies by themselves these days, especially for their debut. Given this context, we assumed things wouldn't have been too different in the 90s, and letting the two members come up with choreographies sounds like Mr. SM really trusted their dance skills a lot. Or the two members were really that great of dancers. Remember that debuting H.O.T was an extremely large project for SM Entertainment back then, and they probably would have never wanted to mess it up.
당연하죠.
Anyways, going back to our actual story. When it comes to coming up with the choreographies, it's Heejun who played a bigger role on the surface, compared to Woohyuk. That's because Woohyuk's choreography usually contained much more advanced, or complex in commoners' language, dance moves, which the members did not usually have an easy time learning, while that of Heejun's was much easier to follow. One of his trademark dance moves is the Power Racer dance, and one of Woohyuk's well-known dances is the Hammer dance. The second one really reminds me of either JYP or MC Hammer. As we've alluded to previously multiple times, the members did not leave it up to their agency to do everything, but in fact, they voiced their opinions in the selection of concepts and title songs. For example, SM Entertainment originally chose Candy as the title song of their debut album, but the members disagreed and expressed that Warrior's Descendant should be the title song. Now, we know this now because we are the future, but looking at things from the future, it wouldn't have been a bad idea to suggest Candy as the group's debut song. But, oh well.
다시 해볼까?
Other skills that the H.O.T members explored include songwriting and composing in order to further improve themselves as true artists. And they even attempted related skills like remixing songs. Once the members were able to compose their own songs, they also contributed significantly to every aspect of album production, as mentioned in the last episode. They were involved in composing and writing the vast majority of songs in their third and fourth albums. And the fifth album was produced entirely by the members. Heejun went as far as creating a new genre that is referred to as space techno, which was recognized widely in the industry. Except both Jinho and I have never heard of it. But it's a really cool accomplishment nonetheless. Some of the famous songs composed by the members include Beat, the follow-up song for the third album composed and written by Kangta, Tuji, the follow-up song from the fourth album composed and written by Heejun, S1E8 is another follow-up song from the fourth album and was composed and written by Kangta, with the English rap written by Tony. Outside Castle, the title song of the fifth album, was composed and written by Heejun. And finally, 그래 그렇게, composed and written by Kangta, was the follow-up song from their fifth album. Supposedly, the members put so much effort into developing their skills in response to criticism from the public. The period in which H.O.T debuted followed the period in which some pre-first generation groups were self-producing their entire albums from scratch. A clear example of this would be our good old Satejian boys. Despite their massive success as an idol group, H.O.T suffered much backlash from anti-fans, and the public devalued the group's work and accomplishments by comparing them to senior groups or artists. Those who did not view H.O.T favorably assumed that they were promoting at ease. Their arguments often stated that H.O.T was provided with massive support from the agency and having their songs written and composed by others. But let's be honest here, even if that was true, that is still not as easy as it seems. And as we already know, this assumption is far from being true. Now, about the albums being self-produced, my researcher Jinho commented that H.O.T was definitely receiving unreasonable criticisms. As we know, the members debuted at a very young age, as in late teens and early 20s. And we think it is unreasonable to expect a fully self-produced album from those who had just begun their careers as singers. Generally speaking, it's not reasonable to expect someone who is just starting their career or even several years into their career to fully manage a large-scale project on their own, which I would also agree with. Or within the same industry, we do not expect a newly debuted group to have their album all produced by themselves. And I mean, that's what producers exist for, right? That being said, if H.O.T had been able to release several more self-produced albums after their fifth album, it might have been possible for the group to become better recognized as artists and would have extended their career in the music industry. I mean, the members continued to show their abilities in self-production, even after disbanding the group. For example, Heejun debuted as a rock solo artist, though it may not have turned out the way he wanted it to, and he also contributed to the production of the debut album of a girl group called Milk in 2001. No, I'm not putting a picture of actual milk. Tony, Woohyuk, and Jaewon formed another group named JTL, and self-composed and wrote a lot of well-known songs. Kangta also went on to self-produce a lot of songs and became the music director for a really famous drama from 2013, 그 겨울 바람이 분다. Now, I am well aware that this is no longer new information at this point, but H.O.T grew to have massive popularity and influence at the peak of their career, which is why they are legends in the history of K-pop. And they're generally known to be the reason why SM Entertainment was able to grow into such a successful and industry-leading agency. H.O.T's objective was essentially the same as that of Satejian boys: to appeal to the younger generation. To find out how Satejian boys succeeded in changing the target demographic of the Korean music industry, yep, that actually happened, check out our episodes 2 through 5 of our series. The main distinction here is that this objective was set by SM Entertainment when the group was being produced, while Satejian boys made their own decision to target the younger generation. Speaking of popularity, H.O.T became a huge sensation in China as well, with a rumor saying that H.O.T's Chinese fan club had around 8 million members. This then led to H.O.T becoming the first Korean artist to hold a solo concert in Beijing. Other than in China, the group was also known to have fans in Japan, the United States, and Europe, although the group never actually promoted in those locations. This almost sounds like we're getting into second generation territory to me. Of course, H.O.T's massive popularity translated to many albums being sold as well. Their first 4 albums all sold over 1 million copies, which is a lot, with their second album becoming the best seller in the entire country that year. Even during the economic downturn from the IMF crisis of 1997. This huge success resulted in H.O.T receiving the Golden Disc Grand Awards that year, becoming the first ever idol group to receive it. As for the exact values of the album sales figures, here they are. You might have guessed by now that H.O.T's popularity in the late 90s was clearly no joke. In fact, rumor had it that you could sell a stone if you simply inscribed the name H.O.T on it. Any sort of H.O.T goods sold extremely well, including everything from gloves, hats and backpacks to notebooks, erasers, stationery, and much more. There was even a carbonated drink named TikTok H.O.T. Wait, TikTok? You mean this? Which managed to outsell Coca-Cola in Korea, only 5 months after it was released. And that was not it. Now, this also applied to other popular first-generation K-pop idol groups, but according to episode 145 of Daehan Waegugin, or Foreigner, on MBC Everyone, which aired July 21st, 2021, a lot of them sold DNA necklaces, which actually contained the DNA of idols collected from their hair and oral cell samples. Wow. To give you one last example illustrating just how popular H.O.T was, they even performed at a concert named Michael Jackson and Friends, with Michael Jackson and his friends, as the name clearly suggests, which was at the Seoul Olympic Stadium on June 25th, 1999. On episode 91 of Daehan Waegugin, or Foreigner, the show we literally just mentioned, which aired on July 8th, 2020, it was revealed that the event host scheduled H.O.T as the last artist to perform. Wait, the last artist to perform?
Wait a minute.
I personally would have guessed that would be Michael Jackson, but he must have given the approval for that. And the reason as to why is quite funny. It was scheduled in such a way, out of fear that the audience would leave, after H.O.T made their appearance. All facts aside, the fact that the host had this concern despite Michael Jackson and other famous foreign artists being in the lineup as well, indicates just how popular H.O.T was at this time. I mean, come on guys, just imagine even the idea of the audience leaving the concert while Michael Jackson was standing on stage. And that concludes today's episode of the History of K-pop. Just to recap, because reviewing is important,
중요해요.
in today's episode, we went through H.O.T's skills and performances, which of course brought them lots of success, and we discussed just how popular and influential they were with the public, which again brought them lots of success. If I did the math correctly, this is our 3rd episode on H.O.T, but don't worry, we're obviously not done talking about H.O.T just yet. That's because we've still got one more episode about H.O.T, and we'll be talking all about their unfortunate disbandment, solo activities, the reunion and its aftermath, and of course, their fandom. So, what do you think about H.O.T having to write and compose some of their songs, despite being under SM Entertainment? Oh, and did you know that they performed at Michael Jackson's concert? I know I didn't. So let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and please leave any questions you have throughout the season on any particular video in the series, as we're planning to have a special review or Q&A episode at the end of the season. Please let us know if we missed anything that should have been included in this video, or if anything needs to be corrected. Of course, and as always, thank you again so much for watching our series. Hit that subscribe button to tune in next time, and remember to stay awkward. Bye!